Hey you guys, it is Tuesday night and a little bit late by just a few minutes. It's okay though, at least I'm still here, right? Today is my birthday, so my closest friend here invited me over to her house and she made a big old pan of cheesecake, which is my favorite, and we sat around, ate it, and talked, and it's always hard to leave her house, so running a little bit late tonight, but we are here. So tonight we're going to be making my version of this casserole, and basically I'm going to have some different ingredients because I have goat dairy instead of cow dairy, but I'll give you guys the cow dairy amounts so that you can make it by going to the store and buying your own dairy. We're going to be using homemade cream of chicken tonight. I did want to say that I have successfully canned homemade cream of chicken, and we've consumed it, and everyone is still here. So we'll be making a video on this. Not that I was waiting to make a video to make sure everyone was going to live. I knew everyone would live. The stuffs have dairy in it, and it's a canned product. I know it's going to offend some of you guys who have been canning for a while, but before you get angry and type something you're going to regret, just go to the store and get one of those cans of cream of mushroom or cream of chicken and read me what the third ingredient is. Cream. So you guys have been consuming canned dairy for a very long time. I'm not sure why it doesn't hit people. There's people on YouTube who make canning videos all the time, and they'll state right in it that they're not going to put dairy in. But then they'll dump a can of cream of chicken or cream of mushroom into their mixture, and then they'll can it. And people just aren't reading labels, I guess. So just try and erase that stigma out of your mind, because if you've ever had something that has cream of mushroom or cream of chicken in it, you've consumed canned dairy. So anyway, I am not going to use this tonight because I know there are some newbies that may be watching that want to learn how to make their own cream of chicken. So we're going to do that. But this is my cream of chicken. It kind of separates on the shelf a little bit, but when you agitate it, it's nice and thick. It's not a gel thick like the store-bought, but the flavor in this is absolutely amazing. And last time I made this meal, I totally used the homemade canned cream of chicken soup, and it turned out amazing. So just a little note, it's on my list of videos to make, and it'll be coming, okay? I think I also have to make homemade cream of mushroom soup that's canned. My goal with this baby is to not fill the freezer with freezer meals. I know that I have a community here that's going to bless me with meals, so thank you ahead of time if you live local and you're planning to bless my family with meals that are nutrient dense. That's amazing, okay? But I also won't have freezer space. So since we're raising all of our chicken needs for our huge family, our freezer fills up really fast here in August when we go to render that meat. And so I actually don't have the freezer space to fill a whole freezer full of meals. So my plan is to have easy recipes and ingredients on the shelf in jars that my kids could grab or my husband can grab when I'm on that first week postpartum and you're on bed rest with a midwife, to make easy meals. And like I said, I know that there are friends out there. I love you guys. You guys are going to bring meals just like you did with Benjamin and just like you did with all of my previous babies, and I appreciate it so much. But I want to have some canned things on the shelf to help postpartum, the first couple weeks, and then also obviously an easy meal to go to just as you're adjusting to another baby. So that's the plan. Okay, so I've had several questions on my cavity videos. Pretty much my channel is exploding because of my cavity videos, which I appreciate. I've kind of walked away from the cavity thing, and I do plan on making some more videos. And I had a friend suggest to me today that I make shorter videos on just like one topic. So I think I'm gonna kind of go about it like that. People seem to have a lot of the same question repeatedly. And also, I know not everyone wants to sit and watch a whole playlist full of videos, even though I think there's only like 5. It would just be nice to have some shorter videos that someone could watch just on sole water and how to make it, and just on the homeopathic stuff I took and that sort of thing. So In any event, I do plan to make shorter videos on the cavity stuff, so if you are here because of the cavity healing journey, thank you for joining my channel, and I will be having more content come out on that subject. I've just kind of put it on pause because I'm pregnant and I'm not really expecting my body to do a ton of healing, but that doesn't mean that we can't still have the discussion. So I will add that to my list as well. The next question I had was tonight from Kathy. She emailed me and was wondering if my tomato powder from Azure Standard has turned rock solid. So mine hasn't. You can see there. But I also double bagged mine. Had I just depended on their plastic bag, it would be a solid rock. But luckily my Ziploc bag has held up so far. I plan to take this. That needs to go on my list too. I just need like to clone myself or have someone come over for like a whole day and like just attack my list. So anyway, if you're local, anyway, this is on my list. I want to separate this out into smaller bags and vacuum seal them so it does not ever get hard, even if this outer bag gets a hole in it. That would be my plan. And for those of you who don't know, this is tomato powder. It's organic tomato powder from Azure Standard. All you do is mix this with water, and you can make all of your favorite condiments that are tomato based, tomato sauce, tomato paste, tomato juice, all of those things, ketchups, you name it. And the cost per jar of, or to make organic tomato sauce, a 15-ounce jar, using this paste and water is only like 32 cents. So super cheap. Go check it out on Azure Standard. My link should be down below. If not, I will add it after this live. And you guys can click on that, go over and type in tomato powder, and it'll come up for you, okay? This is a 5-pound bag. They do sell it in smaller amounts if that's something that interests you, okay? Okay. So I'm going to eat a fermented pickle, and then we're going to get started. I've been craving pickles, and so I've been eating pickles like crazy. So I'm going to eat one of ours. Ta-da! And then we shall start. So, first I'm going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Thank you, Emmy, for the flowers on my birthday. They're beautiful. And the very, very first thing we're going to do, I've totally altered the recipe on the online, so but we're going to put zucchini in it, because if you have a garden, or if you live near people who have a garden, you are trying to get rid of zucchini right now because it's insane. So we're going to put zucchini in this. That's what I did last time. It was delicious. So we're going to get out the shredder and get that going. I've also been eating a ton of custard, the Russian custard. If you want to know where the recipe is, you can get on Pinterest or on the internet and type in GAPS approved Russian custard, and it'll come up. But it's egg yolks, raw egg yolks, honey, and a little bit of vanilla seasoning or vanilla extract, and you just whip it up so it becomes like a whipped pudding almost, and then you eat it, or you freeze it. Do not put it into the fridge. It turns into a disgusting separated gunk. So, but anyway, I've thoroughly enjoyed the frozen version. It's almost like a super firm ice cream. So, whenever I'm hungry and I just ate, or I think I need more fats or whatever, I just go and grab that out of the freezer and have a couple spoonfuls. So we're going to shred up the zucchini. You could chop it, I suppose. But I'm going to shred it because we're actually going to bake it first, so that we can lose some of that moisture. I'm going to get myself a bowl. A lot of people don't like zucchini noodles, but it's really just because they haven't done the spiralizing and soaking with salt and then baking before they use it in a recipe. So I have that oven preheating to 350 degrees, and we're going to chop up the first zucchini. I have a really bad habit of not being able to judge how much zucchini I need, so I might only need one of these, but I'm just going to have 2 out just in case. The original recipe does not call for zucchini. Just a little note to those of you who might be just jumping on. I am adding zucchini because this is my version of the original recipe. I also will not be using Ritz crackers, which is also part of the recipe. Tonight we're going to use pork cracklings instead. So this is a nice younger zucchini without any seeds, but if yours has seeds, you'll have to remove the seeds first. This is going to be loud for a second. Throwing zucchini pieces everywhere. So if I had to guess, I'm going to need probably close to 6 cups of zucchini. Let's see how much we got out of one. That was kind of a smaller zucchini. Probably do the second one as well. It's probably only about 4 cups. Because when you salt it and bake it, it becomes a lot less. So all right. I'm going to chop up the other zucchini here and we're going to get it shredded. This one was also a little on the larger side, but it doesn't have the diameter to have seeds that are established quite yet. So once again, I get to get away with not removing seeds. I'm going to go ahead and shred it. Alright. That should be plenty. I'm going to be putting this in a 9x13 pan, just for those of you who are going to be not making as much as me. You might want to reduce the quantities. And I'm using a deep dish 9x13 pan that was made by Pampered Chef, so it's one of those nice deep crocks. Alright, I'm going to wash off my hands and off we go. Okay, so to this zucchini here, we're going to sprinkle it with a bunch of salt. And I say a bunch because I've actually never measured my salt. It's probably a good couple tablespoons. And the reason why we're going to do this is because we want the zucchini to start releasing the water, very much like we do with cabbage when we're making sauerkraut. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take it down. I'm going to squeeze it a little bit. And we squeeze it because you want to break the cell wall of that zucchini, so it will easily be able to let out some of that water. Okay, add a little bit more salt. Like I said, probably about 2 tablespoons. The saltier really the better because it adds salt to the final dish. So. Okay. Just going to squeeze it a little bit more after the second addition of salt there. And this is going to sit for about 10 minutes and we'll be back to deal with it, okay? It might even release its juices in 5 minutes. We'll just have to see where it's at. We're basically looking for that bowl to fill up with water from the zucchini. Alright, I'm going to clear my countertop. we'll go to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lard up my deep dish 13 by 9 Pampered Chef. Now, I was going to mention about Pampered Chef. This one's an older Pampered Chef. I cannot stand behind Pampered Chef's current products because I've had too many of them explode inside the oven. And they're a lot lighter than the old ones, which is probably what they're trying to do, but in going lighter, they're making an inferior product. So this is actually a really old one. Got it from a lady probably 15 years ago. So if you can pick them up at a garage sale, that would be great. There's lots of older people that end up having to get rid of their stoneware because it's too heavy for their joints. And so those are good garage sales to go to because you can get the old style Pampered Chef that are good items that won't shatter on you for a nice discounted price. So we're just larding it up, and we've just shredded 2 zucchinis. Like I said, this is not the original Ritz cracker recipe that most people are used to going into this meal. This is going to have zucchini, and it's going to have pork, cracklings, all sorts of stuff. But it's a really good filling meal. Okay, so I've just larded up this pan. And what we're going to do is I have canned chicken here. Now you wouldn't necessarily have to have canned chicken, but it's the chicken that I have that's cooked already and ready to go. And a Tatler lid. Can I get it off? Oof. There we go. Good seal on those suckers. Anyway, this chicken's going to go into this pan, but I'm going to keep all of these juices and I'm going to pour them in the skillet back here. I'll move you guys over a little bit so that I can make cream of chicken with this yummy flavored broth. Now, if you don't have canned chicken with broth in it, you sure could just use regular chicken broth to make the gravy. So I'm going to put this full quart of canned chicken into the bottom of the pan. So you need about 4 cups of cooked chicken for a 13 by 9. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the meat up into smaller chunks, and you sure could saute some meat up and put it in here. You can even put raw in here if you want, because we're going to bake this at 350 degrees, so you could do any of those things. This is just what's easiest for me right now. I actually need to cook down some more of our chickens that are into the freezer because in 3 weeks we're butchering all those chickens and I gotta have spots for them. So I need to get my freezers cleaned out and ready to go. I'll add that on the list right underneath vacuum sealing my tomato powder. That way, if I'm rewatching this, I can start my to-do list. Okay. There we go. Chicken in the pan. Alright, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to make homemade cream of chicken soup. I'm going to go wash my hands. So the recipe for homemade cream of chicken soup is in my recipe book. If you have not ordered this yet, the link is down below, and I still am keeping it at the sale price. It seems more people were ordering it at the lower price, so I'm just going to keep it there. So if you haven't ordered this yet, go on down below in the description box. I'll have to add it after this live because I actually think the description box on this live is empty. But anyway, it has lots of recipes, over 200 recipes. And 2 of the recipes we have is condensed cream of chicken soup and condensed cream of mushroom. So tonight we're going to make the condensed cream of chicken. It's on page 116 of my cookbook. So the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of chicken broth. We're going to be doubling this because we need 2 cans of cream of chicken soup for the 9 by 13 pan. So I've got about a cup of chicken broth that I just rendered out of that jar of cooked chicken already in my pot. And as I said before, I have successfully canned cream of chicken soup. And I do plan to make a video about this. I know it goes against the culture, but just think about all the canned dairy you've been eating. Read your labels on the back of those cream of cans, and you'll see that the third ingredient is indeed dairy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over medium heat because it's a cast iron. If you're not using cast iron, you can go ahead and feel free to go a little higher, maybe medium high heat. We're just going to start warming that on up. And we need, it says chicken, but there's going to be chicken inside the dish, so I'm going to skip over the chicken. We're going to need milk and some other things. So let me go grab some more supplies. Okay. So put the milk right there. So, we need some milk, we need some celery salt, which I know I just made some of that. Because I have celery inside the garden right now. Here it is. Homemade celery salt. Ready to go. If you guys want a video on how to make homemade celery salt, leave a comment down below and I'll add that to my video list. And I'll get it made, okay? Onion powder, garlic powder, which is up here. And it says cornstarch into the recipe, but we're going to be using sprouted flour. And then salt and pepper to taste. So this is going to warm on up. And we're going to go ahead and add, we can go ahead and add the celery salt to it. 1 teaspoon of celery salt. And mine is homemade, so it's green. But it still tastes good. Oh, it smells amazing. Ah! The girls and I just made that was it last week? I think it was last week. I'm going to be doubling the ingredients because I'm doing a double batch. So I actually need 2 teaspoons of celery salt. I'm going to stir this just in case. There we go. This was so easy to make too, so it'll be a super quick video if you guys are interested. Let me know down in the comments. Whoops, sorry, knocked the camera there. Okay, so 2 teaspoons of celery salt. We're going to have to be doing 4 teaspoons of onion powder. Speaking of clumps, my tomato powder may have not clumped, but we're getting to the bottom of this jar. Go ahead and add the onion powder. What I like about telling you guys about my to-do list is now I can rewatch this because I always rewatch my videos to make sure they turned out okay. And I can make my to-do list. Which sounds funny, but I kind of forget about what I need to get done unless I list it off to someone. Alright, so we're looking for 2 teaspoons of onion powder. We're getting 2 teaspoons of onion chunks. Does that count? I'm doing the best I can to smush it. Okay. Oh, we need 4 teaspoons. Hang on. 4 teaspoons of onion powder. Hang on. Hold the ship. We gotta add some more. We need some more chunks. I'm so glad you guys are with me tonight. Tonight is my birthday. And I think that's why I actually did not put any of the links down in the description box, because I actually wasn't sure I was going to follow through with this live, because if my husband was to show up and say we're going to go out to dinner last second, then I probably just would have canceled my live. But that hasn't happened yet anyway. Now we're right in the middle of cooking, so I hope it doesn't. Next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. So 4 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Because we're doubling the recipe in my cookbook found on page 116. Okay. Thank you, Lee. I'm gonna have one heck of a big clump right there. You guys can see that? Oh well. Someone will get it in their bite of casserole. I should just throw it out and replace it, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Which is kind of funny. So we're just waiting until this comes to a simmer. Once it comes to a simmer, we're going to add our sprouted flour. You could also use cornstarch. And then we'll add our milk. Next ingredient is half of a teaspoon of salt. Let's see, I already have ground right over here. So we'll do half of a teaspoon. There we go. Man, that homemade celery salt smells so good. That's going to add a lot of flavor to our soups this winter. This is actually my first year of successfully growing celery. And I think it's because of the thicker mulch I've used in my garden this year and then the electroculture. Because I've tried and tried for the last 2 years to do it and could not get it to go. So. Alright, we're just barely coming up to a simmer there. So I'm going to go ahead and slowly add in the cornstarch. 1 tablespoon at a time. We need a total of 4 tablespoons of either cornstarch or sprouted flour. I'm using sprouted flour. Okay. There's 2. Man, it smells good. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision. There's 3. 1 more. 4. Okay, I got nice and thick. You guys can see that. I'm going to go ahead and add the milk, which is 1 cup. This is goat's milk, but you can use cow's milk. This is what's going to give it the creamier color. It's still going to be green because of my homemade my homemade celery salt. But that's okay. Just have a green little tint to it. It's an earthy tone. It's an earthy tone in the cream of chicken department. It doesn't look like spinach, so that's a good thing. I'm going to go put this milk back. Gotta grab some sour cream here, guys. I'll be right back. So I'm going to be using a mix of cow dairy and goat dairy for tonight's meal. Okay, so this has only been sitting for a few minutes. You guys can see, hopefully, you guys can see all the liquid that's on the bottom. So this has been salted and squeezed. So this, we're going to go ahead and squeeze it some more. And I'm going to bake it for a few minutes at 350 degrees. Just helps to dry out the zucchini a little bit so it wants to absorb more of the flavor from your meal. So I just squeeze it out and we're just going to put it onto a baking sheet. I got a couple things going at once. Waiting for this to come back up to a simmer. Okay, I'm going to squeeze that zucchini off camera here and we'll move it onto the baking sheet. I do the same process with zucchini noodles. A lot of times people just zoodle up their zucchini and then they hate it because it makes all of their dishes liquidy. Or it doesn't have the right texture because it gets soggy, and it's because you haven't done the salt soak first and you haven't squeezed the extra liquid out and then you haven't baked it. It's the best way to make zucchini noodles. I've made macaroni and cheese for my kids with zucchini. They loved it. They said it has way better flavor than even homemade noodles. So I'm going to add a little bit more flour because it's just isn't quite thick enough for me. So we'll do 1 more tablespoon of sprouted flour. And then we'll let it come up to a simmer, and then this is done. And I saw some comments, so I'll get to you guys in just 1 second. Okay, it's to a simmer, see that? We'll go ahead and turn the burner off. And I should remove it from heat. Hang on 1 second. I'm glad you guys are here. Everybody that's jumping on, let me check comments real quick. Thank you, Amanda. Jackie, I'm just glad you're here. Looking at the chat messages, I guess I should wish you happy birthday. Best of wishes for the whole year. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Yes, today is my birthday. All right, I'm going to move this cast iron skillet off of the burner so that it doesn't scorch to the bottom. And then we'll continue on our discussion about zucchini. Okay, just going to squeeze some more zucchini here. This is how I do it all the time now. And it only takes about 5 minutes to bake these. And since they're salted, it'll still release some more water while it's baking, but I'm going to show you guys how much liquid I'm getting out of this. So at the end, it's going to be several cups. And once again, we're doing this because we want this to take on the flavor of the casserole and not cause the casserole to be watery. There's lots of different ways to make zucchini noodles and zucchini stuff, but this is just the way I found works for us. I kind of had to get creative when we were on the GAPS diet and figure something out. I've also cut a zucchini lengthwise into thin strips like a lasagna noodle. Salted those, let those sit on paper towel for about 10-15 minutes, and then remove the paper towel, move them to a baking sheet, and bake them for a good 10 minutes or so until they start to turn just golden brown. Pull them out and then put them right into your lasagna. And I've taken that to potlucks, and people are like, what are the noodles in here? They taste so good. And it's not, they're like, oh, it's zucchini? No way. How'd you get it to not be so mushy? I soaked it. Soaked it with some salt, and I squeezed, or in that case I didn't squeeze all the liquid out, but I soaked it with salt and I pre-baked it. Okay, so I didn't get all the chunks out, but you guys see all that liquid? It's a lot of liquid that we've already pulled out. So that liquid doesn't end up inside my casserole, it ends up in the bowl. This can go to the chickens, and we're off. I'll wash my hands. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this pan in my oven at 350 degrees. I'm going to set a timer for about 5 minutes so we can check on it and not forget about it in here. Okay, bump update, there it is. Looks small inside a black apron. Definitely there. And we're going to continue on with our sauce, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring back the cast iron skillet with the 2 cans of homemade cream of chicken in here. Okay, so what we're going to add to that is 1 cup of sour cream. I'm going to be using Nancy's. This is my favorite sour cream. Now, this sour cream got pushed to the back of the refrigerator and froze. And if you've ever had that happen before, it ends up getting kind of funky looking, okay? It's kind of like a cottage cheese, okay? This is the perfect recipe to use this in because you won't be able to tell. So I'm just going to give it a stir, and I'm going to go for 1 cup. So not only are we going to use up your garden zucchini tonight, we're going to use up your half-frozen sour cream. Kai says, oh, how cool. Are you still doing the music therapy? Yes, I am. Update on the music therapy, you guys. Oh my gosh. So between music therapy and eating Russian custard, my hands are only numb in my fingers in the morning. I've had no numbness during the day. And like I said, usually when I wake up in the morning, my hands are numb from my fingertip all the way through my wrist. And now with music therapy and Russian custard, I don't want to say it's 100% music therapy, but probably mostly music therapy, just my fingers are numb. So we're moving in the right directions. I'm going to keep listening to those songs and probably do a recheck, because at $50 unemployment, it's totally worth it. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I just talked about the music therapy with my friend I was with this afternoon, and totally worth the $50. It just nails it right on the head. In fact, my brain has memorized one of the songs, which I find really interesting, and so I'm actually going to start paying attention to when my brain starts playing in my brain to see if the emotional stuff that's linked, to that scenario that song's supposed to help, if my brain's like replaying it, if that makes sense, during those times when I need to hear it. I'm going to pay attention. I'll let you guys know. But it's mind blowing if that's what's happening. But I had my friend suggest that to me today, so I'm going to look into it. All right, I got to grab my dairy that's from my goats. Over here, 1 second, guys. I'm going to give you guys the cow ingredients, even though I'm using goat ingredients, and we'll proceed forth, okay? I had to thaw out the goat dairy. So you need 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to be using 8 ounces of Chev, which is like a soft cream cheese like goat cheese. Goes right on in there. But I've seen huge improvements in my hands. Like, I'm so encouraged that my wrists and my hands won't have to be numb through this pregnancy. Like, I'm so excited. Kylie, were you the one that recommended that? It was a Dr. Borgman or something. He's a chiropractor here. Whoever recommended that last time, I actually looked into that. And I'm going to start doing his exercises as well. I just wanted to give the music therapy a chance before I threw something else into the mix. And then that other supplement you were suggesting is a B1 supplement, which if I'm eating enough raw egg yolks, I should have that covered. All right, so that got super thick. You guys can probably see that on camera. It's like a whipped thing. But anyway, I appreciate those links. I definitely went and watched that video about the rubber band exercises. So those are next on my list if I start seeing symptoms come back. But I'm just thankful that I can like grasp this and my hand's not going numb. When you guys saw me last week, if I was grasping this to cook live, my hand was already numb. So like I can grasp things and I haven't had any sort of numbness during the day, which is huge. It's monumental. Okay, so then we need half of a teaspoon of garlic powder added to this. And our zucchini is done. This is hot. Grab the zucchini out. Both of these are off. Okay, let me grab the zucchini. Okay, so it's just a little bit of water that came out of the zucchini. That's perfectly fine. We weren't looking for big amounts. We already removed a ton. So to this, we're going to add half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half of a teaspoon of my clumpy onion powder. One day I'll have non-clumpy onion powder, and then my cooking classes will seem not so real, see? Because everybody's had this, right? Where your powder goes to clumps. But maybe most people would throw it away. I don't know. I'm such a frugal person. Like, I know onion powder's not that expensive, but I'm like, you know what? There's another 1/4 cup left in there. I'm like, we'll just hold out. We'll get to it. It'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to whisk this around. Super good. And if anyone's struggling with carpal tunnel, there are exercises all over YouTube to do. So you can build, they were talking about how you need to build this muscle up. You're using too much of this one down here. And so anyway, look into that. Because there's tons of really good information out there. Okay, back this up. And I don't know if Abby's gotten the link up yet on her website for the music therapy. So heaven forbid things are going wrong and she hasn't gotten it up. You can still sign up for the music therapy. It's only $50. If you just scroll all the way down, there's a contact us button and just shoot her an email and say, I'm here for music therapy. How do I get things set up? It's super easy, you guys. It's not complicated at all. All right, so I'm going to transfer the zucchini into the pan here. And her link will be down below as well after the live when I get it up. So it's just, you're just going to go to her regular website and scroll down to the bottom and click contact us. Okay, so I'm just spreading the zucchini on out. You sure could do more zucchini if you wanted to. But I'm going to go grab a bag of frozen green beans and we're going to add that to this. And that's going to fill up our container. And we're going to mix some things around. I'll be right back. Hey, buddy. How are you? Is Daddy home? Yeah? Okay, so we're just gonna add probably 3 to 4 cups. I'm just gonna guesstimate though, this is one frozen block. This is frozen vegetables from Azure Standard. You could use fresh if you've got fresh green beans from your garden, throw them on in there. Yeah, that's probably about 3 cups. Okay. The magic happens here in the next step. William's here to help. Now, William, listen. This is cold, but that's hot. So don't touch it, okay? I'm going to go put the green beans away. I'll be right back, you guys. Are you here for the milk?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so the next ingredient is pork cracklings. So whenever I render lard, I always make pork cracklings out of the solids and I put them in a freezer bag. This is what I use in recipes that call for Ritz crackers. So, I'm going to eyeball this again. You can use as little or as much as you want. But this is going to give this a nice crunch. It's going to be nice and fatty and filling. Healthy fat. These cracklings came from a pastured pig. So it was a happy pig out in the sunshine, converting all of the foods into nutrient-dense lard for my family. All right, so I'm going to mix this up when I add the cream of chicken. Hey, buddy, I'm going to slip closer to you. Okay? I'm not trying to push you out of the way, but I got to grab this, okay? And I'm going to dump it in here, okay?
I'm touching more.
Yeah, don't touch it.
I don't want to touch this.
Oh. Okay. It's hot. Okay. Hot.
That's cold. It is cold.
This is the casserole. It looks yummy, doesn't it? So one other thing that the recipe did call for is cottage cheese. Instead of doing cottage cheese, I'm going to do some feta. And this is also goat cheese that I made. Yeah, we're going to do milk. I just got to add the feta and I got to stir it around. Okay? Are you tired, buddy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to cube up the feta. We did this before and it was really good. Okay.
What do you order?
We are going to mix it all in together. Did you know that, buddy?
Is that cold?
This is cold because it came out of the freezer. But for the most part, it's thawed out. Just a couple of chunks left.
Is it goat cheese?
It is goat cheese, yeah.
I think one.
Sure. All right. That's feta. What do you think? Is it good?
It tastes like goat.
Tastes like goat, yep. That's for certain, son. All right. Now we're gonna mix it. You ready? I'm gonna mix it because it's close to the top of the pan. I don't want there to be any accidents. Okay, so we're just gonna mix this up. And I'm gonna get out the milk because we actually need to add about a half a cup of milk to this.
What?
Yep, and I'll get you your milk too. You and I will have our milk, okay?
And the whole bag.
I know. You want a whole cup, right?
Yeah. Well, one more in there.
Did you have fun at your friend's house today?
We're in the one what was broken is right now fixed.
Oh, something was broken and now it's fixed. That's nice.
And we went in.
All right, I'm doing a full cup, you guys. Full cup of milk.
Hey, we went in it.
Do what?
We went in it. What went?
What is it?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Am I throwing food at you? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, we did one in that truck.
Okay.
But we didn't.
Okay.
Because we were for a little while.
Did you go for a ride in the mule?
In it?
What?
What did you say?
You know that mule, that thing they have at their farm? Did you go for a ride in it?
Meal
Yeah, it's like that car that they have.
before.
So to the top of this, I'm going to sprinkle some more cracklings. Cracklings are really good on the top of green bean casserole too. It's a really good alternative to those fried onions you buy into the store. There we go. Those are cracklings. You want one? Yeah, here you go. It's not salted though, so. What do you think? You're tired, buddy. I love you very much though. I'm just going to salt this really quick and into the oven at 350 degrees. It's going to go. It's going to bake for 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the size of your chicken, if your chicken is cooked. I'm so glad it tastes good now, buddy. You got to move this so I can put it into the oven and we'll have our milk. Okay, so you got to back up. Okay? Can I do what? No, you're going to have to get off. I can't drag you on that. You're too big. Here's a close-up of the yummy casserole, you guys. All right. Okay, stay back. Okay. Wash your hands.
Now I'm going to get the cups.
You're after a certain cup? Okay.
Okay, you're going to have one of these cups.
All right.
These cups. Even you.
Me too? Okay. All right, you come back around. We'll get them full.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Craig, could we dry them out? Yeah.
Sure. I'll dry them out. So what I was going to say is that this could be a GAPS meal, okay? As long as it's clean pork, I believe you're still allowed to have pork. Okay, then go to the bathroom, and when you're done, I'll have your milk. And then instead of using the flour when we went to go make the cream of chicken, you could totally use cream cheese to thicken that. And then you'd have a yummy GAPS casserole. You'd have to use GAPS cheeses, obviously, but you could use kefir cream cheese. Just think outside the box. I'm going to go put the milk away while we wait for Buddy to come back. guys have any interest in me doing a dinner that is like a Asian stir fry type of, like a Mongolian grill type of deal? If you do, let me know, okay? Kylie says, not me, but I do go to a chiro. Who was that? It was Hey Alabama. That was who commented last week. Not me, but I do go to a chiropractor every week with my toddler. I recommend. Yes, absolutely. Actually, I already had him check my wrists. That was like my first thing. Jackie says, I like your t-shirt, William. What kind of truck is it? William? Hey, what kind of truck's on your shirt? Do you know? Oh, we got clink. I almost drank without you. What kind of truck is this? Yeah, what kind of truck?
A fireman.
A fireman truck. Yes. Okay, hang on. Ready? Okay, clink. There we go. Oh. Is it yummy? Oh, what's more? Okay, clink. All right, well, stir fry it is. We'll do a stir fry for next week. That'll be yummy. I've been doing stir fries a lot lately because it's something that you can throw together in a pan really quick. And you can make it good and nutritious for your family. So, and there are easy ways to make it so that you're not using any grains as well, which is good. But we usually put a little bit of noodles in. It's mainly vegetables and meat and the juices and butter. But we do put a little bit of noodles in. That was my son's favorite truck. We used to go visit a lot of fire departments when he was little. Oh. William's never been to a fire department.
I like them. I like them in them.
Oh.
I like them.
You like toy ones, right? Yeah, toy fire trucks. However, his broke. So I gotta get you a new one, huh? Yep. What broke on it? Do you remember?
No. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I think it fell down the stairs, didn't it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It didn't make any noise.
Oh, does it make any noise? Yeah.
Yeah.
The siren broke.
I like it.
And then I think you left it outside, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't make any noise.
No noise.
Yeah. When I left it out there.
Okay. And then it really broke, right?
Yeah.
So next Wednesday is my ultrasound. So if you guys are praying folk, I know a lot of you guys are, please pray for me and the baby. That's going to be a really emotional day. It's next Wednesday. What else is coming up, William? Do you know?
No.
No? Okay. If you missed my video that I posted today, it's up here live. And that is for how to make homemade choke cherry jam. And Bethany helped me in that video, so you guys have to go check that out.
I wanted to.
Yeah, it was already too late by the time you wanted to help, though. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in that video I talk about the new canning lids that I bought that I'm in love with from Azure Standard. I talk about Pomona's pectin, which is what I use so I can use a lot less sugar in the recipe. Or no sugar at all, which is super cool.
No sugar.
No sugar. Choke cherry jam is my favorite jam, and they're always ripe in the state, in this area,
No.
right around my birthday.
No.
Yes. It's my favorite. Do you like choke cherry jam?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
As I was saying earlier, that Russian custard that I was using, ouch, that recipe, using raw egg yolks, no cooking, it's really, really good inside the freezer. Oh no. What do you say? Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, you're excused.
Bah.
Bah. I also got a pasta maker. Okay, stop. I also got a pasta maker. So I've made homemade sprouted noodles. So if there's any interest in a video about how to make homemade sprouted noodles, I could totally do that. Hi. The machine that I bought is a vintage machine. It only takes like 5 minutes to make noodles. Oh, what did I get from Azure for the choke cherry? Yeah, hang on 1 second. I'll go grab it. Oh,
One strawberry.
choke cherry.
Wow.
Sorry, I cut out. So I use Pomona's pectin so that you can can jams and jellies with low or no sugar at all, or honey.
What in here?
So they sell it in the box, or you can buy a 1 pound bag.
What in here?
It's just stuff to make stuff into jelly or jam. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 box makes 22 half pints of jelly,
No.
and this is pretty much a must-have if you're trying to
No.
get your.
No.
Hey, hey, are you gonna be respectful, or do you need to go? Okay, be nice. This is pretty much a must-have if you're going to be making healthy jam because, for instance, my choke cherry jam, yesterday I had 32 cups of choke cherries, and I would have had to use 32 cups of sugar. And instead I was able to use 6 using Pomona's. So go check it out. Azure carries it. Also, Amazon carries it. Before that, I bought a new canning lid that I'm in love with. They're called Superb.
I don't like them.
Okay. Azure has started selling this brand. I love these, you guys.
No.
The box is thicker than the standard box. William. Because the lids are actually thicker, and they have a 5-layer of anti-corrosion protection, so they're not supposed to rust. Okay, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell if they're thicker on the camera or not, but they totally are. And way more rubber than a ball canning lid. In fact, it even kind of feels tacky to the touch as you're putting your fingers on it. And these are just amazing. They sealed right up really quick. Nice vacuum to them, and they're USA made. So Azure sells them because Azure started making their own canning jars, and they got together with this company to put the lids on the jars, on their canning jars. So their canning jars are also out. Those are super amazing. They are the only canning jar on the market right now that can withstand 100-degree heat shock. So if you're in the market for some canning jars, go check out Azure Standard because I'm pretty sure those are going to sell out pretty darn quick. But they sell the Superb lids for cheaper than getting them online from the Superb company. But I was just so impressed with these. I have no doubt in my mind that I'm not going to have any failed seals this year due to not having enough rubber on there. And I think, Jackie says, can you reuse them? These are not supposed to be reusable ones. But if you're like me, in a pinch, I have taken old ones that the rubber's still good on and reboiled them and reused them. I know a lot of people do that. And I really believe that there'd be enough rubber on this seal to reuse it. So the reusable ones that I use are called Tattler lids, and that's reusablecanninglids.com. Do I have any sitting up here? I think I put them all away. Oh, here's one. I don't know where the gasket is though. So this is the Tattler lid. It's BPA-free plastic, and then it has a rubber gasket that sits right here. So that's what I typically use, but I'm going to disposable this year because I want, if you guys watched the beginning of this video, you saw how huge of a seal the can. Hang on, I'm being summoned to the bathroom. Just a second. Did you have to go to the bathroom? Oh, you silly boy.
That's it.
Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands.
Why?
Why did you check that out. Okay, so I'm not really sure what I was talking about. Oh, canning lids. So the Tatler lids can get quite a seal. In fact, such a good seal, and I've used them for years, that they're almost hard to open in some cases, and you can't use a bottle opener on this plastic lid. It just doesn't quite grab it like you can on a metal lid, because there's no way to puncture it with this little point. So I haven't found a good way to get them off when they're super sealed, other than to keep on pulling. And since I'm planning on doing the canning up of basic meal ingredients for post-baby, I want those jars to be easy to open for even my kids. And so the answer for that is going to be disposable lids for this year. So I plan to do like a lot of already fermented and canned up beans that could be dumped into like a chili, cream of chicken soup, cream of mushroom soup I think is on the list. Just have like a lot of basic ingredients that can be combined to make meals after the baby. Let's see what the next question was. You guys can see how messy my laundry room is. Jackie says, what is the difference in the jars you mentioned? So, I think you're talking about canning jars. So, right now if you go and buy a canning jar, I don't know if anyone else has paid attention to this or not, but canning jar, the glass that it's made out of is so much thinner than what they were made out of. Let me see if one of these ones are vintage ones. Okay. So this is going to have garlic granules on it. Let me see. That's a vintage one too. The old canning jars are the good ones, okay? Here we go. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to pick this up on camera. So the blue one is a vintage. You guys can already see how thick this rim is right here compared to the current ball. It's like half the size. So when they get thinner, they get more brittle, okay? Which means over time they're gonna crack. And I found that if I buy brand new canning jars, they maybe, if I'm lucky, last me 2 seasons. And that's with following all of the proper canning rules, and making sure we're not putting cold jars into hot water and all of those things. I've been canning for over 10 years, so I'm aware of all the rules. But they just don't last. They end up shattering. They end up getting cracks around the bottom, cracks in storage. They just don't hold up like the old vintage jars. So all I'm saying is Azure Standard has created a canning jar, which I don't have inside my home right now. But they have tested their brand new canning jars that are Azure Standard label. Instead of saying ball, it'll say Azure Standard on here. Actually, I think it just says Azure. But they didn't want to release their canning jars to the public until they could withstand 100-degree heat shock. So that means taking it from, let's say, 0 degrees and putting it in 100-degree temperatures, and that glass won't crack, okay? So they are the only jar currently on the market that has tested their glass to withstand 100-degree heat difference. And so that's why I think they're going to sell out, because there's no canning jar right now on the market that can say that. It's going to be a lot tougher glass, and if I would imagine, I've never held one, but if I had to imagine, they're going to be a thicker glass, more like the vintage canning jars than the Ball and other brands these days, being thinner. Everything's gotten thinner. The Ball canning jars have gotten thinner over the years. The rubber on the seals have gotten thinner. And so I'm just searching outside the box. I know I had somebody asking on the Azure video in regards to the lids I ordered. I thought Ball was a good company. Why are you switching? And that's why, because since COVID, I've seen in using name brand lids, Kerr, Ball, all of those, the failed seal rate has gone through the roof for my canning, and I don't want to be investing so much of my time to come back a few months later and have the seal be popped. Once the seal pops on a can, the food inside is total trash. So instead of putting all that time into preserving my food and then throwing it away, I would rather try out some different lids that are new on the market that are advertising that they have more rubber and are a different thing. I'm welcoming that to the marketplace and I'm going to give it a try. And because these are anti-corrosion, that will be amazing. I don't have my root cellar in right now, but we do plan to put a root cellar in. And if I end up having to store some things that are canned down in the root cellar, usually they rust. So that would be really cool to have a lid that can withstand that and then they won't rust. So anyway, and they're 100% USA made. It's a family-owned business. So anyway, Superb is the name. And I've only used them this once to make all that jam yesterday. I made, 18, almost 25 pints of jam. And I used their lids the whole time. And it was amazing. It doesn't say that you have to warm up the lids before you put them on the jars, but I totally did just out of habit. That's what I've done for years, even when they weren't saying you had to anymore. And the rubber on these lids, like you went to go place it on top of the jar, and you could already feel the rubber was trying to grab. So, amazing rubber. Check it out. If you buy a whole case, which is what I did, there's 24 of these 12 packs, okay? And that takes the price on Azure Standard down to like $2.50 a box, which I don't know about you, but I haven't seen canning jars any less than like $4.50 a box since before COVID. So if you know somewhere else to get name brand, not off brand, canning jars, canning lids for less than $2.50 that actually have legitimate rubber and don't lose their seal, put it in the comments down below. But this is the best I've found so far. Azure used to carry 4 jars lids. I've heard some really good things about that company as well. It's just that Azure happened to have these and it was a really good deal, and so I've heard really good things about this company as well. So I figured I'd go this route this year, and heaven forbid I'm not happy with these, which I don't see that happening. I could always do 4 jars lids next year. So that's that. Once again, I'm going to mention this again. If there's anyone interested in how to make homemade celery salt, leave it down in the comments. I can make that video. Also in the beginning of the video, since there's more people on now, I'll say it again. I do plan to make some more videos that are shorter about my teeth, because I know a lot of you guys were brought here because of my teeth journey. I've kind of moved away from that topic just because I'm pregnant and I don't expect a lot of healing in my mouth, but that doesn't mean I still can't talk about it. And so I do plan to make some shorter videos just on one topic. So things like sole water and how to make it, etc. The homeopathic stuff I used and how that works and what's in it. Just basic little videos that are a lot less editing for me and get you guys information you need without having to watch a 20-minute video. So I do plan to do all that. I'm also going to be trying to get the same angle of picture of my teeth. That's been requested, to please take the same angle in the comparison pictures, and I'm going to try and figure out how to do a side by side. That side by side might be beyond my technical capabilities. I'm just going to be honest. I try to do everything on my phone, and I'm not sure you can do that on a phone. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. I'm not trying to hide anything, just being 100% honest. I do all of my editing and my recording and my everything right here on my phone. I'm as honest as that. What is that back there? Oh, it's a cow. It's a paper plate with a cow on it. I'm as honest as my dirty laundry room indicates right here, all right? I'm pretty transparent with my life, and so I'm not hiding anything. I just don't have the technical knowledge either on how to do a lot of the fancy things you see here on YouTube, like voiceovers and everything else. And I also have made the choice not to monetize my channel, and so I really have to be mindful, since I'm not making any money doing this, how much time I'm putting into this channel, because I do have 5 children and another one on the way and a farm. So I'm doing the best I can, but trust me, I'm totally being honest. My teeth are healing. If they weren't healing, they would have fallen out by now. We're over a year in this cavity healing journey. I would have had my teeth crumble and fall out of my mouth if I was doing something wrong. So anyway, I'm going to start making those shorter videos, and I forget what the other video was I was going to make. I'll make one on the celery salt, because I think we'll have to harvest some celery maybe this week. We'll see. But I'll write that one down. There was one other one. Well, anyway, you guys can go back and watch the replay on that. But I did have a third one. I'm going to go back and watch the replay. I always go back and watch myself. I just make sure it didn't go through choppy and everything was okay. But I also go back to watch and make up my to-do list. So, oh, the tomato powder, I'm going to get that bagged up and vacuum sealed. So that's on my list. But there was another video, I'm not sure what. Oh, it's a video about how to make cream of chicken soup and can it. That will also be on my list, so that'll be coming too. Jackie says, thank you for not making me feel really stupid with technology. So I am a millennial, but I also have never been drawn to technology. Just naturally, not drawn to technology. And even the kids, I don't homeschool on devices. We don't use the computer much. They've taken some typing. They type up Bible verses to practice typing, but our lives are very disconnected from technology. I mean, for those of you guys who are new, part of my house is completely off grid. So anyway, I don't have Wi-Fi here on the farm. That's one of the reasons why my videos are so basic, because I don't have the ability to hook my laptop up to Wi-Fi without leaving the farm and driving 20 minutes. So anyway, I'm doing the best I can, and I'll keep putting out videos and keep answering questions, and I love all of them. Keep them coming, and I'll keep making the videos. And I think that's it. I do plan, if there's interest, I do plan to make videos of like canning the foods that I'm going to be making for after the baby. If there's interest in that, I think I'm going to do a couple of like shelf stable meals where the whole meal is inside a jar. And then I'm going to do this type of thing where we're going to be doing the cream of chicken, cream of mushroom inside jars. And then things like canned fermented beans, which I do want to make a video about because I've had several questions about how to do that. What else was I going to can? All different sorts of beans for sure. I'm not sure. I have a whole list of everything that I want to can because I have these meals selected. And I want to make sure that I have all of the canned goods on the shelf so that I can just grab, well, I won't be grabbing them. So my older girls can follow a simple recipe of dump and go type meals and be able to make meals for our family while I'm recovering from having a baby in December. So that's my plan. So there'll be more of those videos. Kylie says yes to celery salt and yes to canning fermented beans. Cool. Yeah, I've had several people email me and message or leave a comment about the fermented beans. What do we do? So I'll make a video about that too. I'll add it to my list and I'll get those videos out. I'm trying to put at least one extra video out other than the live every week. As August rolls in, about the second week of August is usually a pretty crazy tomato harvesting time for me, so you probably won't hear much from me. And if things are super crazy, we might not do a live here and there in August. Just depends on how it goes. It's just a lot. I have 97 tomato plants, so I'm pretty much going to be like buried in tomatoes for a while, which is fine. That's food. That's great. But I'm going to be doing things like making videos on how to make sun-dried tomatoes. Diced tomatoes are pretty easy, but I could make a video about that. So I have lots of video content that I possibly could do, and I just don't know how much of it I'll actually get done. But I do have good intentions, and we're almost out of ketchup. For those of you who are waiting for the tomato powder, which I did talk about earlier in the beginning of this video. So as soon as I'm down to my last jar of ketchup, I'm going to crack into this tomato powder and make homemade ketchup with it. If you're new to the Azure Standard tomato powder, you need to go check it out. It's organic tomato powder, and basically you can use this tomato powder to make, you just add water. So if you add a whole bunch of water and the ratios they tell you, you can make tomato juice. A little bit less water would be tomato sauce, even less water would be tomato paste. And what it calculates out to, I bought a 5-pound bag here, and if I made all of this into tomato sauce for one 16-ounce can, which is the bigger can, not the small ones, but the big ones of tomato sauce, would cost me 32 cents. So it's actually cheaper than non-organic tomato sauce into the store to go ahead and use tomato powder. Kylie says, I just finished fermenting a batch of ketchup. Ooh, that's awesome. Hey Kylie, if you're not using the Nourishing Traditions fermented ketchup recipe. Will you email me your recipe? The Nourishing Traditions one did not go over well with my family, so I'm always open to trying a new recipe, and I don't have any options right now for fermented ketchup. So I will get my email down in the description box below as soon as we end this live, along with all the other links I talked about. And so Kylie, if yours is not from Nourishing Traditions, please email me right after I get the email up on my description after the live, because I'd love that. That'd be awesome. Okay, well, I lost William. He didn't even finish his milk. So what's the protocol? Does the mom drink the milk then, or do I leave it for him? I don't think he's coming back. He'll come back and cry. I got plenty of milk. I got like 3 gallons in the fridge. There, I got my milk in for the day. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me, you guys. This is almost done. Should be about 30 to 45 minutes. I just got to make sure those frozen green beans cook all the way through. Otherwise, everything else is going to be cooked in that amount of time. And it's delicious. So, and it's a great way to use up pork cracklings. Like I said, I use these in any recipe that calls for Ritz crackers or any sort of other topping like those fried onions. I use pork cracklings instead. And I just store these into the freezer. And they're great. You just pour them on out and add them to your recipe. It adds a nice little crunch and lots of flavor and healthy fat. So that's that. All right. Thank you, Kylie. That's awesome. I'll get that in the description box. Give me about 10 minutes, okay? All right, you guys. I'm going to jump off. And next week will be a Mongolian type stir fry. So stay tuned for that. I'll get up a live event up here. And you guys can go ahead and click the notify me button so you guys get the notification when I go live next week. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching.